Welcome viewers to Historical Journeys. Maybe no creature living or dead has spellbound the world in the manner that dinosaurs have. Be that as it may, imagine a scenario in which all that we assumed we realized about these ancient animals ended up being incorrectly. At the point when one scientist started uncovering a dig site in the mountains of North Dakota, he before long found a lost piece of dinosaur history that might change all that we assumed we had some awareness of the horrendous reptiles that once controlled the world. New proof shows specialists misunderstand entirely dinosaurs' elimination. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It only takes a second, and you won't miss any of our future videos. A great many people would consider a distraction with bones concerning, however, Robert de Palm. His affection for the gone for good was everything except unconventional. And trying scientist, the 37-year-old figured out how to transform his long-lasting energy into a keeper position for the Palm Oceanside Exhibition Hall of Normal History. Yet de Panama was maybe most popular for the broadly broadcasted revelation he made close to Bauman, North Dakota in 2012. In the wake of getting a tip from a confidential fossil gatherer, de Palm and his group started exhuming a site along the notable Damnation Brook development. At first, de Palma felt the site named Tanis had little commitment, something the authority had made him aware of preceding the uncovering. Nonetheless, subsequent to getting back to Tanis in 2013, the scientist found there was something else to the sun-expecting patch of rock than met the eye. Only a couple of meters beneath the surface, de Palma found a large group of uncommon and surprising fossils, including those of species he professed to have never seen. It was a fantastic find. The one bunch of bones specifically grabbed to control his attention and left him emphatically confused. Underneath the skeleton of a freshwater paddlefish, de Palma found the reality of a mosasaur, a colossal reptilian hunter that made its home in the expanses of the early Cretaceous timeframe. This puzzled de Palma and his group, for it was basically impossible that this animal might have existed in the new waters of ancient North Dakota. The design of the find was likewise uncommon, the fossils stored randomly and a few skeletons even covered upward in the soil. Joined with the way that tektites, little pieces of normal glass made from meteor influences, were likewise present, everybody was left scratching their head. Then, at that point, a light went off. Could the tektite sections found in the Tanis store have been dispersed here by the space rock that cleared out the dinosaurs? While certain scientists would rush to acknowledge such a hypothesis, the believability of this situation isn't precisely straightforward. The generally held conviction that a space rock influence caused the Cretaceous-Paleogene eradication occasion is fundamentally founded on the presence of the KT layer. This 66-million-year-old band of Earth extends over almost the whole globe and contains an elevated degree of iridium, a component principally tracked down in space rocks. This hypothesis is likewise upheld by the Chicks, a hurl more noteworthy, a 112-mile impression in the Yucatan promontory that contains a similar mineral cosmetics as the KT layer. Accordingly, most researchers expected that the space rock that made this pit dispersed the iridium flotsam and jetsam that eventually cleared out the dinosaurs. In the event that this were the situation, one would hope to find a lot of fossils in the KT layer. All things considered, it was during this time that essentially all life on Earth went terminated. Nonetheless, this really isn't valid by any stretch of the imagination. Scarcely any fossils have at any point been tracked down in this layer of rock. Truth be told, most fossils are found around 10 feet underneath the KT layer, which topographically talking would measure of 1,000s of years between the passing of these animals and the game-changing space rock influence. Hence, it appears to be exceptionally impossible that an extraterrestrial article diminished each and every dinosaur to rubble. Advocates of this substitute hypothesis really do in any case accept that a space rock influence polished off the remainder of these ancient animals. However, they recommended that elements like enormous scope volcanic action and environmental change had proactively cleared out the vast majority of the dinosaurs by this point. Be that as it may, as indicated by de Palma, the Tanis find was the way to at last taking care of this discussion. The one's tropical region is currently absolutely dry and sits inside the mountains of advanced Oman. Yet in those days, it was home to bunches of the mollusks until they vanished in a similar elimination occasion that is remembered to have killed the land-based dinosaurs. The study's lead creator and scientific geochemist at Rice College, Brussel Babasta Winter, told Dagu and Walk 2020 Rudis are very exceptional on the grounds that there's in no way like it living today. In the late Cretaceous, particularly around the world, the vast majority of the reef manufacturers are these developers, so they truly took on the biological system building job that the corals have these days. 70 million years after the fact, that equivalent shellfish has turned into an old recording gadget chronicling Earth privileged insights inside its layers. Through painstakingly directed tests, the colder time of year, and his group had the option to extricate mind-blowing disclosures from this honest shell. Their discoveries have assisted with affirming long-held speculations encompassing old Earth and then some. Indeed, the review has even assisted specialists with seeing more about our moon and the job it has played in the advancement of our planet. While the shell has without a doubt opened ways to new discoveries, researchers definitely know a considerable amount about what life resembled at that point. Dinosaurs actually meandered the planet. For example, as the finish of the late Cretaceous time frame drew nearer, topographically talking, the Earth was in the limitation phase of the Mesozoic period, which covers from 72.1 to a long time back. Over the 79 million years that comprised the Cretaceous period, the planet went through significant changes at its start. The planet's expanses of land were organized in two supercontinents, ruler Asia in the north and the immense southern island of Gondwana. Be that as it may, both had proactively started fracturing, and toward the finish of this fantastic age, the landmasses, as we probably are aware them today, were beginning to come to fruition. North America kept on floating away based on what is presently Europe in a shift that had started during a prior Jurassic time frame. Also this, obviously, further enlarged the range of the Atlantic Sea. India was as yet planted close to Madagascar, yet it was presently afloat and starting to move toward the north. Australia, on then again, was as yet associated with Antarctica, creating some distance from Africa and past the South Pole. The environment cooled impressively over the Cretaceous period, yet it was still a lot hotter than today. Rather than ice sheets, timberlands covered the posts, and it permitted dinosaurs to meander Antarctica. Notwithstanding, as the planet cooled, these and other non-central backwoods turned out to be more calm. This impact was capable across the Earth, carrying occasional climate toward the northern and southern sides of the equator. The previously mentioned climatic changes eventually gave way to the development of grass, deciduous woodlands, and blooming plants. The last option demonstrated especially significant with their quick development, giving a food source to numerous creatures. The peculiarity is driven by the manner in which the Sun and our Moon communicate with Earth on a grandiose scale, though really it's undeniably brought about by gravity and the tides. The Moon is slowly spiraling away from the Earth at a pace of roughly 1.5 inches consistently. NASA's James Williams depicted the impacts of this pattern to the distribution in 2010. The senior examination researcher made sense of your focusing on the Moon's circle and removing it from the Earth twist. The Moon's gravity controls the tides in our seas, which outperformed the previous planet's circle because of the speed at which the Earth turns. The subsequent uprooted mass pulls the planet forward, while the Earth's turn is at the same time eased back by grinding on the seabed. Together, these variables bring about the impalpable expansion to the length of our days. Our years continue as before length. Nonetheless, on the grounds that our planet's circle around the Sun stays steady, to find the rate at which the Moon is pulling away from Earth, Williams pointed lasers at reflectors abandoned by Russian tests and U.S. space explorers during the 1960s and 70s. In the first place, he determined the time it took for the bar to get back to Earth. Then, at that point, Williams contrasts changes between numerous outcomes with arrive at the ongoing figure of 1.5 inches each year. By and large, The pattern laid out by concentrating on the moon is that the further back you go the shore are the days where. Yet the precarious part is sorting out their exact length. Australian Public College geophysicist Kurt Sheepbeck told Logical American, "As you begin traveling further once again into the past, the records get challenging to decipher. In any case, the records would in general help. A general example, returning that the quantity of days in the year expands. Examinations of the Earth's tides can likewise educate us really concerning how the moon was framed. For sure, the information upholds the prevailing hypothesis that the lunar body crashed into our planet about a long time back. Assuming it shaped somewhere else and floated into Earth's gravity, Lambeck said the tides wouldn't have stayed steady. Moreover, Purdue College Earth and Air researcher Jane Mellish added that our reality had a fast 6-hour pivot following the moon influenced the Earth. More than billions of years, the moon has floated from its underlying circle of 16,000 miles to its ongoing distance of 239,000 miles. Subsequently, the Earth's revolution has obviously eased back multiple times over. Nonetheless, this model is on the grounds that permitted specialists to dive into changes happening over the lifetime of a formerly living organic entity. To be sure, as well as the length of a day, the shell has likewise had the option to precisely uncover environment conditions quite a while back. For example, examination of the mollusk has shown that temperatures of the seas in the late Cretaceous period were really hotter than past evaluations. Winters were pretty much as warm as 86 degrees centigrade, while summers arrived at a horrendous intensity of 104 degrees centigrade. As per the colder time of year, those temperatures were possible, arriving at the most extreme that mollusks had the option to endure. Rudist master Peter Skelton, who was associated with the winters, concentrate on remarked in the group's discoveries to Agwu. He said the high constancy of this dataset has permitted the creators to draw two especially intriguing inductions that assisted with honing how we might interpret both Cretaceous astrosequence and Rudist paleoscience. The examination has basically given the most reliable perusing yet of the length of the day in the late Cretaceous period. What's more, it has additionally assisted with filling in a portion of the spaces concerning the moon's pivot and impact on the planet. That is on the grounds that while the lunar planet downturn rate at present stands at around 1.5 inches each year, the specialists trust that it's beyond the realm of possibilities for that to have forever been the situation. Assuming the downturn rate had never showed signs of change, it would mean the moon would basically have been inside the Earth only a long time back. In any case, we realize that the previous planet is a lot more seasoned than that, having probably landed with our planet around a long time back. That recommends then that the rate at which the moon is pulling away has changed over the long haul. Incredibly, following a long-term length of this old shellfish's life has assisted scientists with better figuring out those changes. Conversing with Universe magazine, the colder time of year said the advancement of the Earth-Moon distance probably been more intricate. Yet we don't know precisely how this sort of estimation assists cosmologists with making better models about how the Earth-Moon framework acted from the snapshot of the last planet's development. 70 million years is simply a small part of the moon's history. In any case, so nothing unexpected going ahead. The study's creators desire to apply their new laser-centered strategy to much more established fossils, and in doing so they desire to catch comparably exact previews of the contrasting lengths of days further back in time. If you want to stay updated with our latest videos, subscribing is the way to go. Just click that red button below and become a part of our channel family.